Deep within the classified corridors of power, a plan had been forming for months, not in public statements or diplomatic channels, but in the quiet hum of encrypted communications between Washington District of Columbia and Tel Aviv. Intelligence analysts, working across time zones and secure satellite uplinks, had been piecing together a picture, one target, one mission, and a window of opportunity that would not stay open forever. The war room lights burned low. Digital maps flickered across massive screens, tracing movement patterns, communications intercepts, and satellite imagery pulled from orbit over Tehran. Every piece of data fed into a singular conclusion. The operation was moving forward. The timeline was set. Signals intelligence, human assets on the ground, and high-resolution satellite passes over the Iranian capital had been building a detailed profile of a high-value target, a senior figure within Iran's military command structure whose movements were carefully guarded and deliberately unpredictable. Yet patterns always emerge. A vehicle route repeated one too many times, a communication frequency that surfaced at irregular but traceable intervals. Analysts in Langley and their counterparts in Israeli intelligence cross-referenced every data point, layering the information until the picture became undeniable. The target's location had been confirmed. Planning a covert strike of this magnitude required synchronization across multiple military branches and allied intelligence services. Stealth aircraft capable of penetrating radar detection systems without triggering a single alarm were repositioned to forward operating bases weeks before the operation date. Missile trajectories were calculated and recalculated, accounting for Iranian air defense networks, atmospheric conditions, and the precise structural layout of the target site. Three-dimensional mapping of Tehran's urban grid was rendered in extraordinary detail, allowing mission planners to simulate every possible scenario. The animated flight paths drawn across tactical screens showed clean, deliberate arcs, weapons traveling thousands of kilometers with surgical precision. When the order was finally given, the command center fell into a focused, almost eerie silence. Radar screens painted the airspace in real time. Stealth platforms lifted from their positions under the cover of darkness, their signatures invisible to conventional detection. Simultaneously, long-range precision munitions were launched from naval assets positioned in the region, their trajectories locked and unalterable. In the war room, every officer watched the digital map as the flight paths converged toward a single glowing marker over Tehran. Seconds felt stretched. The communication lines between Washington District of Columbia and Tel Aviv remained open, both sides monitoring the same feeds, breathing the same tense anticipation. The strike was executed within a margin of error measured in single-digit meters. Satellite imagery captured in the minutes following confirmed the destruction of the target site. The high-value individual, whose movements had been tracked across 8 months of meticulous intelligence work, was confirmed eliminated. Within hours, Iranian state media began broadcasting fragmented and contradictory accounts of what had occurred. The regime's response was measured but unmistakably shaken. Across the region, Allied intelligence services moved to elevated monitoring postures, anticipating retaliatory signals and repositioning assets accordingly. The operation had achieved its primary objective with no loss of Allied personnel. Operations of this nature never exist in isolation. Every calculated strike sends signals far beyond its immediate target, to adversaries, to allies, and to the broader international community watching from a careful distance. The elimination of a senior Iranian military figure reshaped threat calculations across the Middle East overnight. Proxy networks that had operated under his direction entered a period of disorganization and uncertainty. Regional governments quietly acknowledged the shift in the balance of operational power, even as public statements remained deliberately vague. The animated world map, once showing lines of threat radiating outward from Tehran, now displayed a different configuration, one where the initiative had unmistakably changed hands. The full scope of this operation will likely remain classified for decades. The intelligence methods, the specific assets involved, and the precise chain of authorization that led to the final order are buried beneath layers of national security protections. What is visible, the geopolitical shift, the confirmed elimination, the regional recalibration, represents only the surface of a far deeper strategic undertaking. In the world of covert military operations, success is rarely announced. It is simply felt in the altered behavior of adversaries, in the recalibrated posture of allies, and in the silence where a threat used to be.